Next, Anthony Shaut.
Anthony Shaut, 23 Milwaukee Drive. For transparency, I am also running for village trustee with Jeff on the March 19th election. My focus tonight will be on the importance of a comprehensive plan. The facts behind the origination of this proposed law, as I understand them, are that the mayor was approached by members of the Orthodox Jewish Coalition and lobbied to draft the form of the law that residents were initially presented with early last year. From what I've been able to gather from speaking with various members of the community over the last several weeks, including members of the ultra-religious community, the OJC is one group within the ultra-religious community that does not necessarily represent that entire community. What this means is that you, as the board, initially proposed a law that could drastically change the landscape of the majority of our village based solely upon the input of one group within one religious community. It was only after you drafted the law that you sought to obtain the input of the remainder of the ultra-religious community and the entirety of the rest of our community. Understandably, that remainder of the ultra-religious community has chosen to support the proposed law because the only other option available to them thus far is no change, and we all agree that is not a good option. What I've learned over these last several weeks knocking on doors and having conversations with residents of all backgrounds is that the overwhelming majority feel there is a compromise to be made. A compromise that does not circumvent the Zoning Board of Appeals process while also addressing the needs of our religious residents, and doing so in a way that retains the rural residential character of the village. It's amazing to hear that most of our residents in this community with diverse backgrounds and lifestyles actually want the same thing, and all I had to do to find that out was ask them. Why can't the village board ask these same questions in a polite, open forum without the weight of poorly drafted, drastic zoning amendments? So the question becomes, how do we reach this compromise of polite dialogue where everyone can participate? What is the way forward that takes the time to fairly address the needs and carefully weigh the concerns of all residents of this village? The answer is that it's time for the village of Chestnut Ridge to stop tweaking an antiquated code and finally develop a capital C, capital P, comprehensive plan. The Pace University Law Use Center was extremely helpful in providing an in-depth look at what exactly a comprehensive plan is and what purpose it serves. I will share two interesting perspectives provided by them, taken from the well-grounded publication authored by John R. Nolan, founder of the Pace Land Use Law Center. Number one, according to the 2008 Survey of Land Use Planning and Regulations in New York State, 69% of New York's governments have adopted a comprehensive plan. Somehow, 7 out of 10 governments in New York think that a comprehensive plan is prudent planning, but none of our board members feel that way. Number two, the requirement that all land use regulations conform to the comprehensive plan reveals the wisdom of the legislature in urging villages to adopt comprehensive plans with citizen comment and support. Said another way, adopting land regulations that conform to the comprehensive plan provides significant legal protection for such regulations. How is it possible that something that provides a blueprint for the future development and preservation of the community exists and is enforceable in a court of law to alleviate your legal concerns, and you are completely ignoring this obvious solution? Going back to earlier public hearings, we sat and watched members of the ultra-religious community stand up in front of this room and talk about their love for the current landscape of this village. We saw those same residents memorialize in a letter the fact that nowhere near 90% of this village is needed or desired in order to practice their religion. Why then are we taking this radical measure of changing the landscape of the majority of this village when so many of us do not want this? You are proposing radical amendments to laws that no one wants or needs, and that has accomplished nothing other than dividing the village. Zoning laws are just that, laws. A comprehensive plan takes zoning laws a step further and taps into the needs and concerns of the whole community to develop a sound and inclusive foundation for moving forward, for progressing. That plan, that law, will serve all members of this village fairly and responsibly. We all want to move Chestnut Ridge forward, but moving forward cannot be done without a plan to do so. I strongly urge you to 1, stop further consideration and revision of these amendments, 2, develop and adopt that comprehensive plan, and 3, rely on this plan to be the legal foundation and vision document to guide the village into the future for all residents. Thank you.
Thank you.